Hey loves, it's Britt, and today I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while, a natal placement. So today I'm talking about the North Node in the fifth house in your natal chart. So not in synastry, an actual natal placement. Haven't done this in a while. Yay, I'm excited. So, whenever we have our north node in the fifth house, we automatically, because the south node is always opposite the north node, have the south node in the 11th house. And the north node in our natal chart shows a lot about where our soul is going. It is a point of destiny or fate. It's an energy that we must embrace in order to experience true fulfillment and feeling like we are living our soul's purpose and destiny. And the north node is always directly opposite to the south node, which is a point of comfort. It is a point where, we're really naturally gifted and strong in that energy. It's actually like really obvious what someone's south node placement is. I feel like it's very easy to see, even like the sun or the rising, the south node energy is just so embedded in someone. But if we solely stay in that south node, we become stagnant, and it's a karmic energy that we're living in. And really, what we're meant to do, or what I believe we're meant to do, how I experience it, how I feel it, is that we're meant to use those gifts of the south node, because we are really gifted there, as a base, as like the foundation to build on towards going to our north node. Okay, so that's just a little long intro. So natal north node in the fifth house, this is a creative lifetime for these people. They have spent this lifetime perhaps, and maybe other lifetimes, being very involved in their mental body. So whenever we're seeing the south node in one of the airy houses, the 11th, 7th, or the 3rd, more so the 3rd and the 11th the most, we're seeing a strong mental energy, and a lot of energy spent in the realms of the thoughts, rather than a lot of doing. So these are the real dreamers rather than the doers in some cases. And there can be a lot of fantasy, a lot of energy spent just like on, I wish I could do this, or I wish like life could be like this. And there can be a lot of dreams for like a better humanity. So there's like a strong humanitarian energy as well. And that's a part of their giftedness, that when they do go towards their north node, they can build on. That's a very significant part of this placement. But often when it's operating in a more karmic sense or a more negative sense, these people, they're stuck in the realm of all these possibilities without much concrete action. And the reason for that is because they identify so strongly as like one person in like this vast universe. The thing about Aquarian energy is like we really tap into that collective energy of humanity, where we can end up feeling like the opposite of Leo energy or like fifth house energy, where like we're not special. Like we're just one of many. So like what is the point of like implementing any of these ideas? Like we're just like a speck, in the world. And so like on the higher level, it's recognizing like the oneness and like the interconnectedness of all of life. And yes, we're all equal and we're all one, if you're like into that kind of spiritual perspective. But what can happen with the south node in the 11th is that we get kind of stuck in that vastness, that impersonal energy, that we don't spend as much time as we should if we were going towards our north node of the fifth, developing our personal creativity and our uniqueness. So the other thing about the south node in the 11th and the north node in the 5th is that we really identify with the group consciousness. So usually there's like a friend group or like a some type of group that we feel connected with, and we can really lose our unique identity in this group, or we are at risk for that. Okay. And you could even see in some cases a friend group or just a group that we belong to ending up really being a karmic energy for us. Like this placement, you could see like, peer pressure or like getting our self undoing could be caused by being in the wrong group. We end up being involved in some sort of group that's actually harming us more than helping us. So part of the north node's potential here, or part of the journey with these nodes, is that we're learning to, in some cases, leave certain groups behind, or at least leave that part of us that over identifies with the group at the expense of our own personal identity and creativity. So it's about actually learning how to be your unique self in a group. And this is also a leadership lifetime. So it's about really embracing that unique identity that you are and that divine will, that energy of creativity and action, right? So rather than just having the creative ideas, this lifetime is about actually creating the idea, right? So you can see, many great inventors having this placement, people that see the world differently. They see the world in a humanitarian sense. And when they actually start going towards their north node, that's when these inventions are going to come up. That's when they're going to be able to actually create something. And you want to look at the sign of the north node to see what this creativity is and what this uniqueness is and what the path is, right? And then you want to look at the sign of the south node to see what we're building on, what we can use, as a stepping stone to go towards that north node energy. So those two signs, that polarity, is the theme of this lifetime. So another thing, a lot of soul growth for these people is going to come from love affairs and also our children. So it's quite likely with this placement that there's a love affair or two or three, or we'll see how many, but there's an energy in a relationship that changes your life in a big way. And also through having children, if there are children, it's like the birth of that child and the raising, the parenting of that child sparks a major transformation in your life where it's like an activation of destiny, right? So having children and having romantic, fun, like playful love affairs where the inner child of both of you is allowed to come out. This is very important for the soul mission of these people. But it's not something that necessarily comes naturally, because when we have the south node in the 11th, it's like we can be more comfortable with the impersonal. We can be more comfortable with maybe connecting to others on a group level. Like we're in this group and we can connect to people on an impersonal level. But when it comes to intimacy and one-on-one connections where we're really, sharing our heart and like, yeah, having like a romance or a sexual like love affair, that energy can be more uncomfortable because the north node is this point that, before we fully grasp it, it can feel daunting. It can feel like, we have to do it, but we're scared to do it because of what that will entail. So a really good lesson for these people is learning, that it's safe to have intimacy with someone. It's safe to share your heart, and share your personality. Like you don't have to blend in to the group. Like you can really, and it's usually going to be through a love affair, like in these intimate relationships where you can really let your true creative self out and shine. And that is a part of the soul mission, the destiny of North Node and the fifth house people. And children, definitely parenting, fun, like playfulness, embracing all of these energies of the fifth house is really going to be their true fulfillment and destiny and purpose. So it's meant to be a fun lifetime. It's meant to be a playful, creative, not super serious lifetime. Like, not that of course there's always going to be serious things, but like when we have the north node in the fifth house, it really is about connecting to that inner child, connecting to that heart space, connecting to that creativity, and like that's going to come from a fun place. And these people might grow up feeling like they're not as emotional as other people or not as connected to their heart. Unless the South Node is in a water sign, then that's going to be different. But in some cases, like the 11th house is such an impersonal energy. The Aquarian, like themes of the 11th house, it can be very detached. So these people can grow up thinking, I'm just not like a very heartfelt person, or like I'm just, it's not so much that, it's like they can just feel like they're just kind of different than the rest of humanity. Like they're just this kind of oddball. They don't feel the same. They see things differently. Like they're kind of, they can have that perpetual feeling of like being a bit of an outcast, and maybe they have their specific group that they connect with, but as far as the rest of people or in intimate one-on-one settings, they can sometimes feel cut off, or they can also fear losing their freedom. They can also fear like that if they do involve themselves in fifth house romance, love affairs, children, that they're gonna lose some of their group energy or their friend group or their individual freedom or their like identity in the group, right? So they can have fears around getting close with people, but really in this lifetime, it is about more one-on-one relationships, romance, playfulness, like fun, joy. All of these energies are really going to help them in this lifetime go towards that North Node. Now, another big part of it is that they have all of these creative ideas, and there's so many ideas and dreams and wishes, for a better world, a better place. And really, like, they should spend some time meditating on how to actualize these ideas. Like, that is a big part of this North Node placement, is actually doing something with the creativity. And it's really about honoring their unique self. Like they need to recognize that they are a spark of the divine, and their ideas, their creativity are here to warm the hearts and souls of this planet. And so it's, yeah, it's really about having this activation of like self-love and self-worth and like inner fire, um that gets them going, gets them motivated, makes them want to wake up in the morning and work towards that creative goal, right? And so these people can really come up with beautiful works of art. And yeah, there's always going to be that 11th house South Node energy of like something helpful for humanity, something futuristic, something, connected to friends and groups, right? But they have to put their own unique spin on things. And, you can see early in life, them wanting to blend in, wanting to be a part of the crowd or peer pressure, all these things. And really, they're meant to, in this lifetime, distance from that and become like the brightest shining spark of light that represents their unique individual soul path. So the study of astrology can really help them with that. They can see the uniqueness. The sign of the North Node is really where they're meant to shine in this lifetime and share from their heart, their truth, their authenticity. Like, that's really going to bring healing when they focus on that energy and share it from the heart. And yeah, this lifetime is really about embracing their uniqueness and their shiny self, and they're not meant to just blend in this lifetime, even though that's the most comfortable energy for them. They're meant to have closeness with people and shine in a romantic sense and parent their children and have these creative ideas actualize. These are kind of like the main themes of this placement. So these people can be a little bit hard to pin down. You can kind of see with this energy where, yeah, the 11th house South Node, they just have such an impersonal energy that they can struggle with, wanting to, yeah, get close with people or share their heart. They can kind of seem unavailable, like emotionally unavailable. So yeah, in this lifetime, it's really about, connecting to people on a one-on-one level, heart center. And it really is a beautiful sight to see when they do start to open their heart and share and shine and like create. It's like these people are magic. And I think this is really a placement of like an evolved soul, because there's been many lifetimes of like working for the good of all in a more hidden sense, or in a more like, yeah, connected to the group. And now it's like in this lifetime, they're taking all of that and personally activating it and like expressing their personal self in this lifetime. So some nodal placements are actually meant to be like a bit more selfish. This is one of them, because we're coming from such an impersonal, detached energy to a more self-centered place, but centered in self, like the heart, right? So see, if they do end up creating things that are just for selfish purposes, that's not going to feel fulfilling. So, they're really learning about that 11th and 5th polarity of like creating something from their personal self, but for the good of all, which is, it's a challenge. And it's even a challenge, like, speaking about these kind of deep things, it's never going to come out right. But I hope I've done an okay job at this very deep and fascinating North Node placement. I'd love to know your experience of this natal placement, if you have it, or if you know people close to you that do have it. Is it like this? Is it not like this? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.